Okay, sometimes we're asked, about what is it that really makes Dwight and Dan work in this whole workshop, storytelling, coaching genre. And I had to think about that, what is it that, that Dan has that complements what Dwight has, and when Dwight and Dan are together or working together, it comes out and it really makes a difference to those that we're talking to.
Oh, when you say compliments, I thought you were going to say conflicts.
Oh,
because there's a little bit of that too. I think what it is that we're both committed to story. We're both committed to helping people.
Right.
We both absolutely believe that every single person has a story, that every person's story is valuable to another person. So we have this core that is undisputable.
Right.
But then, as we approach that core, you approach it differently than I do.
Right.
And so we get to bounce these different ideas off of each other. But what works for us is we're so committed to this core, and we have so much respect for each other, and we understand it's not about us. It's about the client.
That's right.
And so between that dynamic right there, it's almost like they get three people. They get Dwight, they get Dan, and they get D&D.
D&D. Oh, that's good. I like that. And the idea there is that, and so when I think about how we flow and how we work with clients, and sometimes we'll be working with a coaching client, and it'll be a situation where we're both actually working with that particular client. And I notice that when you're sharing your insights with the client, it's information that not only that the client needs, but that I get value from.
Mm-hmm.
So I really appreciate the whole process where it's just a steady give and take, and a steady sensitizing to new ideas, new thoughts, because a lot of what we share it's really spontaneous and unrehearsed.
It's almost always spontaneous.
I mean, it just kind of comes from way down deep, and it just, once it hits the surface, the lights come on. And then, of course, this thing I'm characteristic about talking about, and then transformation begins to take place down on the inside.
When we coach people, we talk to them about not being able to see themselves when they're in the frame. There's blind spots that we all have. I think that you and I have our own blind spots. Of course we do. We're human. When I listen to you pick up on something that I've said, you say things that I write them down. I go, oh, wow, ooh. Because I didn't see them. And then I listen, and that's the other key thing between you and I. We listen to not only client, but to each other. We're not just waiting for our turn to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll trigger something in me that I'll give back, which usually triggers something in you or
right.
in the client that the client comes back to us.
Right.
And so it's very much like you said. It's unrehearsed, and sometimes we couldn't script it to go as far as it actually goes. It goes where it's supposed to go naturally.
Absolutely. And then there are times when we're coaching and we will be dealing with the situation with the client, and I'll give my take on it or feedback or stretch goal for that person. And many times you actually don't really see it exactly that way. Mm-hmm. And so I already know what goes on in your head. Okay, now how can I come in there, interject my vantage point without it seem like I'm contradicting what Dwight's saying. And I'm the same way.
And you're the same way. And so is the audience, whether you're talking to one, the many, or the masses. If you're trying to sell your idea on a corporate level, if you're trying to sell your concept to a funder to get money, you're trying to sell a home, the audience is not going to be monolithic. It never is. And so the fact that we're not monolithic allows us to give the client a perspective in the coaching that will be duplicated at a grander scale within the audience. And it opens up their sensitivity to saying things in a different way that are broader, that will hit the target audience better, more of the target audience. More people will respond to it or will be attracted to it because it was said in their language, their style, using maybe their verbiage, it may be their level of emotion, and whatever it may be, they're sensitive to it.
Absolutely. And so then it allows our divergent perspectives to be something that is not necessarily looked at as a conflict, but kind of for the client can be looked at as these are two ways in which I can look at or receive the feedback or coaching that I'm getting. And then from our perspective, it's where we don't let our ego get involved. And then, you know, in the middle of a coaching session, you know, say, well, wait a minute, what do you mean? You know, we don't go there. So I think that really works out well. And I always have to catch myself and say, okay, all right, I'll go ahead and hear Dan out on this one.
But you know, we have a lot of similarities in our life, and we have a lot of differences. There are things that I experienced that you did not experience. There's things that you experienced that I did not experience. And I think that our life experience makes it easier for us to hear things from a person. So I might hear things earlier on, and I might say, if I was coaching alone, I might say, you got it. It's good. You can go with that. But you, since you don't have that experience, you're saying, wait, whoa. I'm not sure where you're going with this. Huh? And that's really good information for the client that we're coaching because, as I said earlier, the audience is not all going to be coming from the same position, even if they're in the same organization. Even if, you know, if you're talking to people that are in recovery, well, they're in recovery at a different level. They got addicted at different reasons. They got addicted to different things. They experienced different things during addiction. That doesn't mean that one sentence is going to resonate the same with multiple people.
Absolutely. You know, another aspect of the coaching experience is to work with someone that is totally submitted to the process of being coached. And so we were in experience here recently where we're working with someone that was really a corporate exec, had many people working under her, had a big budget.
Right.
And this person now has come into a situation where they've retired, but they want to continue their speaking career. And so they came to us to say, you know, I need to really learn how to frame and to craft my story and my message. But this person came in not as the big corporate exec to where they can kind of tell people what to do. She came in, I mean, humble to say, I'm going to become as a little child and allow myself to teach, to be taught, and to learn some things. And I'm telling you, it has been one of the most rewarding coaching experiences I think that I've had since I've started this, you know, this line of work.
You know, and it reminds me that we coach people, not speakers. And she was successful. She was, you know, they had like everything you said, with a voice behind her saying, "You're not good enough. You don't belong." And she got to a point when she retired that she didn't want that voice to control her anymore. In fact, she wanted to go the other way and use that voice to speak to people who have a similar voice, that are in corporate positions, and to understand. She realized when she retired that she wasn't her position anymore.
Right.
And she needed to be the person. And she didn't want to be the person with that voice. And she realized that she could take control, but she didn't know exactly what to do with it or how to bring it out. And it's just been a wonderful experience for us helping her to discover that.
Absolutely. And we're just seeing waves and waves of transformation and aha moments that really make what we do incredibly rewarding because we're able to see results in real time as people are transformed.
Yeah, and that's what makes, that's our trophy case. You
That's
know,
it.
we don't have chrome and gold or whatever that is, in the wooden blocks.
That's right.
We have people walking around living the life the way that they have always wanted to live it. Speaking there what once was secrets. The secrets that kept inside turned toxic on them. And as they release them, as that toxin is flowing out of them, they become healthier and healthier. And the interesting thing about releasing the toxins from within, they are not toxic to the receiver. They are medicine to the receiver. And once they realize that they can speak to people who are feeling the same way that they've felt their whole life, and then they don't have to wait until they're 60 or whatever retirement age is. They can change at 20, 25, 30, whenever they want to change, when they can hear that message presented in a way that resonates with them and that they can attach themselves to.
Absolutely, and that's why I'd like to talk about the power of story. One of the things is it's the power to heal, and not only to heal those in your audience, but as you're saying, to heal the storyteller. And sometimes when we go through places in our story that are kind of what we might call outside of the comfort zone of a lot of people, many times going outside of that comfort zone really is releasing permission to those that are hearing the story and allowing them to know that they can expand and go further in terms of the work that's needed down on the inside of themselves.
I would also say it also is permission for us, or maybe if it's not permission, it's a responsibility that we understand as speakers, that when we get to that discomfort, we're outside of that comfort zone with a story that we've been telling for 15, 20 years or more, and we feel that inside, that we understand as a speaker that it is healing, and if we continue to leave inside, it becomes toxic to us once again, even though we've been talking about it for 20 years, and it does not get released into the universe to heal others. So we accept that responsibility, and then we start working on ourselves, and we both work with coaches. We coach each other. We have other people that coach us. This coaching thing, there's no end to it.
Right.
In fact, I would say, just like an athlete, the better you get, the more you need a coach.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine an Olympian without a coach? Just went out there and said, hey, what are you going to do? I'm going to run.
Totally unheard of.
Totally unheard of.
Totally unheard of. When you talk about the Olympian, you can't help but mention who coached them or who brought them to that particular place in their ability to do whatever it is they do.
Yeah, and you see that in sports all the time. You see somebody who doesn't make it on a team and goes to a different coach, and that coach is able to bring something out in them. And I think that's another aspect of what we do, is we let people evaluate us, and if we're not the right person for them, it's not personal, we're just not the right person for them. And everyone who's looking for a coach needs to find that match. But I say that with a little bit of a warning. Too much comfort could actually mean the wrong match instead of the right match.
That's exactly
Because
right.
your coach has to put you in an uncomfortable position from time to time, but you have to trust the coach enough to know that they're doing it for your own good. And even though it's a little awkward or a little painful, and you'd rather not do it, you need to follow through and do what you're being asked to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and the other piece is this, is that that's why when we talk about how far we can take or how far a person can go, say, with our style of coaching, that's why it's really important for us, you and I, for us to continue to be in a growth process, continue to get coaching, continue to get training, continue to read, continue to examine, explore, go on YouTube, read articles, and continue to be in a growth process so that we can expand that's in a way that's commensurate with the growth that's taking place in those that we coach.
Right. And then the only thing I thought of to add to that is to continue to follow others that we see at our level or above, and those who have become stagnant or staying behind, and we need to leave them behind, because we need to keep moving forward. We cannot afford to become stagnant. We can become stagnant, we limit our usefulness.
That's right. You're absolutely correct, Mundo.
And you know what, as we're wrapping this up, it's got to have an element of fun and humor, and we do that. We let it go every once in a while. It wouldn't be, if you just came in, it was all just serious.
I got too much starch in this collar here, so we don't want that starch to be reflective of our coaching style.
Oh my God, it's my coaching session.
Right.
They're always so serious.
Right. That's right.
Because there's the humor helps to bring out things, and it relieves tension, and
laughter, as Reader's Digest, laughter is many times the best medicine.
So the bottom line, if you want to get to where you need to be, they need D&D.
You need D&D.
You need D&D.
All right. All right.